So my two selections, the first one is one that I saw way back in 1997. I saw it in the theater. I saw it with good friend and basketball teammate Andy Slocum. Don't know if he's going to see this. He's not on Facebook much
That's
anymore.
important. There will be a test later.
Yeah, I don't know if Andy was going to be able to see this. He's not on Facebook much anymore.
Do we have to if someone guesses that later on, we got to give them one of our drinks?
No. So at the time I saw this movie, it's called Event Horizon, with Lawrence Fishburne and Sam Neill and Jolie Richardson. I was not yet a horror fan, really. I was still a science fiction fan, which that's what drew me to the movie, was the idea of a ship that had disappeared and come back, and I wanted to see it. What I got was a little bit more than a science fiction film.
Oh boy.
It was that?
Oh boy, yes.
Oh yeah, oh boy, yeah.
That's an agreement.
And I recently, it's popped up on Netflix this week. That's why I'm featuring it. And I went back and watched it again. And really, it's an excellent, excellent film. For 75% of the film, there's this tension. They do a really great job of, so basically the idea is Event Horizon is a transwarp, faster than light ship that's designed by Sam Neill. And it disappeared for 7 years, and now it's mysteriously come back. So Lawrence Fishburne is in charge of a rescue team. It also has Sam Pertwee as a guest. Sean Pertwee is an actor, and they go out to try to find out what happened to the event.
Oh, Jason Isaacs too.
Yes, Jason Isaacs as well. The idea is the ship went beyond our dimension, basically to hell and back. And it's a really great job of building this tension throughout the first 75% of the movie. And I remember watching this in the theater, and from the opening shot of the movie is Sam Neill standing at a window in a space station where he's stationed, and it pans back and it spins to the point where Sam Neill's now upside down, and we pan back to see the whole space station. And I remember sitting in the theater going, I am seriously disoriented by the shot right now. From that moment on, you're really left, I was anyway, off center and very uneasy about everything that was happening. And you got the idea pretty early on, this ship went beyond the bounds of normal space. So and I think maybe it even was part of the marketing that I read in an article somewhere, is that, this ship went to hell and back.
Was it a Jack Chick track?
No, it wasn't a Jack Chick track.
That's what you get for trying to go to heaven.
But it was really just, the tension was so well done. I will say that at the end of the movie, it was almost like the directors were like, well, we're not sure what should happen next, so we should dump a lot of blood everywhere and have Sam Neill go full evil. But still, up until that point, it's just a really, really great film. And at that time period, I guess if I call it a contemporary classic, this was around the same time that me as a writer and a viewer, I was shifting from sci-fi, because sci-fi wasn't doing it anymore for me for whatever reason, and I was shifting from sci-fi to horror. And this movie was one of those movies that was key in, like, wow, this is a really, really great movie. This tension is just like, especially when they're trying to figure out what happened in the ship, and they have all these audio transmissions, they have all these screams on it. It was just really, really great film.
It definitely is a classic. It's one of those movies. It's actually a litmus test of what kind of horror viewer people are.
Absolutely.
Because there are people I know who think the last 25% is what makes the movie the classic.
Right.
So
right.
it does delineate which type of horror fan you are. I'm with you. I love the first 75% more. In my opinion, the blood's fine, but when you start to focus on it, you've lost focus on what I loved about the first 75%, which was the characters.
Yeah, exactly.
And so for me, it loses why it was tense, because now it's a horror of visual horror versus a horror of please don't kill these characters I enjoy.
Right, exactly.
And one thing I noticed about this, because I watched it, the first time I watched it, I didn't like it, but the second time I watched it, I really enjoyed it.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's an actual term for that, because there should be. We all had that situation where we watched a movie, didn't like it first, and then second time we did. And basically it's a haunted house in space,
It is.
and I know the argument was, well, hell is just a construct. Was it hell was not. It's just, the fear was there, and I liked how the ship itself was evil now.
Yep.
And how it was preying on the failures and the fears
Yes.
of the rescue crew.
That's what made the story in the beginning, was it was prying open all their secrets. The last 25 minutes was like, Sam Neill's now evil. I'm going to show you gory pictures from hell.
Oh,
You
he's
know?
naked too.
And he's naked too. We don't see his junk though, so don't worry. But yes, that was the strongest part of the movie, when the ship was kind of like a scalpel, was slicing apart everyone's deepest fears, and that was the best part of the movie. My second contemporary classic, which I recently rewatched, which is free on Vudu right now, also Sam Neill, In the Mouth of Madness. In the Mouth of Madness is probably, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it, although we're going to go see Color Out of Space next weekend, so we'll see. In the Mouth of Madness is the best, in my opinion, Lovecraftian film that preserves the Lovecraftian mythos, but it's not a ridiculous pastiche. It's an extremely disturbing film. And the idea is, in this film, is that Sam Neill is an insurance investigator. He's been hired by a book publisher whose biggest author, Sutter Kane. I love that. Have you read Sutter Kane? I'm still sad there actually are not novels written by Sutter Kane.
Someone go fix that.
On a sidebar, Castle was that TV show that Nathan Fillion was in, and somebody actually ghost wrote Castle novels to go along with the TV show. Somebody needs to ghost write Sutter Kane novels right now. Agents and publishers, I'd be more than happy to do that. Moving on.
And then write the fan fiction with the really weird romance angle.
Yeah, moving on. So Sam Neill is hired by this publisher. With the publisher is Charlton Heston. I mean, that's
He
beautiful.
tells you to go, you go.
Yeah. And their biggest author, Sutter Kane, has gone missing. So Sam Neill has to go find him. And it's a great rendition of the idea of the author who is tapped into something ancient. So it's a really classic theme, right? An author whose powers of creation have tapped into something else. So what he writes becomes real. And it's such a great film that is very surreal, got some decent creature effects, and it's probably the best Lovecraftian. It's not based on any Lovecraftian story, but and I'm going to mangle his name. Jürgen Pinchau?
Jürgen Prochnow.
Jürgen Prochnow. Sorry.
Wow.
Jürgen Prochnow plays Sutter Kane. He plays Sutter Kane, and he's great. And just the idea that this author...
It's like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch, that's what I always say.
Oh my
Jürgen...
God. Benedict, I'm sorry if you're watching.
Yeah. Who by,
We know you are.
anyway, so In the Mouth of Madness is a great film. That idea that an author, his words have power, which is a classic theme. But it's currently playing free on Vudu, and I rewatched it recently, and it still totally holds up. So absolutely, Tremors, Event Horizon, which is on Netflix. Tremors is also on Netflix. And In the Mouth of Madness is on Vudu. Go check those out now.